Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Popular Stranger, and we are back with episode number 2 of our Detroit Lions offensive playbook, ebook, guide, whatever you want to call it. You guys showed me a ton of love on the first episode yesterday, so I certainly appreciate it. And we're going to keep it going. Like I said, I want to get one episode out every single day this week until we finish it up, and we're going to go right back to the same playbook and same formation. And I think I'm going to do 3 plays in this episode real quick. I will be creating a playlist for this entire series, so if you guys are watching this for the first time and you missed episode 1 or you missed episode 3 or 4 that aren't out yet at the moment that I'm recording this, well, that playlist will bring you to all of the videos. And also, very important, obviously I'm showing you all of this stuff in this video and in this video series, but I definitely encourage you guys, if you don't already, to come through to the Twitch streams and hang out, because everything that I'm doing in these videos I also do live, so you can get, more gameplay examples and just see it work a lot more than just these videos here. So back to Gun Bunch and a Gun Bunch X Nasty. This is, like I said, the formation that I run about 90% of the time, and we're going to focus on all 3 of these plays that we're looking at on the screen right now: motion cross post, motion RP zone alert, and then motion Y corner under. I'm going to start with Y corner under because this is actually a play that I don't really run too often, but just this past weekend, I kind of found a setup that I really like, to the point where I think you're going to see me running it a lot more frequently than I ever did. And it's just another way to mix in the same look with these motions that you're going to see in the next 2 plays that I run a ton, like numerous times throughout the game, to just keep your opponent on their toes and never really know what's coming. So a couple different setups for this one, but I would say the main one is we're going to block our running back. And if you're new or you didn't watch episode number 1, I'm going to explain all the basics, because I know there's a lot of people out there that don't know how to block the running back, don't know what a hot route is. So forgive me if you already know this stuff, but I want to do this for all of the audience that's watching it here. So blocking our running back, triangle on PlayStation, Y on Xbox. That brings up the hot route menu. We're going to select our running back. In this case, it's Saquon Barkley, and then we're going to hit R2 on the PlayStation controller. That would be right trigger on Xbox, and that will block him. Again, because people blitz so much in this game, you want to block more than just your standard 5 offensive linemen. We do have a situation where we're going to send 5 out, but for now, we're going to block our running back. And then the only other adjustment I'm going to make in this setup is Davante Adams, who has this kind of like modified slant route going from the right of your screen to the left. We're actually going to put him on an entirely different route. So we bring up our hot route menu again with triangle on PlayStation, Y on Xbox. This time we're going to select Davante Adams with R1. That would be right bumper on Xbox. And we are going to put him on a flat route. So a flat route is going to be L2 on the PlayStation controller or left trigger on Xbox. And once we do that, this is how the play looks. So really my main progression here is kind of reading from right to left. If R1 is open, we're going to throw it in the flat and take the yards. We're also going to get a sense of what the defense looks like on that side of the field. And if that flat route is pulling down the right side enough, then Kyle Pitts, the X receiver, that corner route is going to end up being open, and that can end up being a really big play. And then the third progression for the most part that I make is going to be Johnny Wilson, the motion man, who runs that inverted dig, but because it's off of a motion, it's a lot more unique than you'll normally see, and that's going to usually beat man or zone coverage. A good user will take that away, but the main reason I found this play started working is because my opponent's user kept chasing the corner route or the right side of the field with that little flood concept there, and it ended up leaving Johnny Wilson open a lot. And then there's a couple other setups we'll show you on top of that, but we're going to run our play. We're going to get the motion here. If I can take this right here, again, not ideal, but if I can take that and I need that many yards to maybe get a quick first down, I'm going to do that. Outside of that, we're going to try to have a little bit more patience here and wait for the X route to get open if it's going to. You can kind of notice it's going to get there. Now that with a knockout is probably going to be a problem there, but you definitely want a possession catch in a tight window like that to ensure that you hang on to the football. And that was most certainly a big timing throw. And like I said in episode number 1, repetition. Go into practice mode like I am and run these plays like 50 times a day just to get a feel for what the defense looked like post snap, because for me personally, that's how I can usually tell something's either going to be open or not. It's not me looking at this and saying, oh, he's in cover 2, he's in cover 3, he's in cover 4, it's man coverage. Sometimes I can tell those things. And as I said, I just started running this play frequently over the weekend, so this one is still somewhat new to me, but running it over and over and over and over again is going to give me the repetition that I have on a lot of these other plays in this formation. And once I become really comfortable with it, we'll be able to just throw nothing but dots and dots and dots here. Now, you are going to have some situations where you make a bad read like I just did right there, and that was mostly because I felt the pressure, and that's why practice mode is so important. I'm showing you here, I'm not perfect. These plays aren't going to work 1,000,000% of the time. That time it felt like that cornerback Cooper DeJean just kind of came down onto that flat route, and we were able to throw the corner. Now, one other kind of variation you can do instead of going with the flat route there, bring up your hot route menu with triangle or Y, hit R1 to select Davante Adams, and in this instance, we're going to press right on our directional pad, our D-pad, to do a zig route. So this will help against man coverage, but you are going to have backyard QB, hot route master, or master tactician to be able to do this, and that's what I recommend. Definitely have that on your quarterback for this scheme here, because you're going to need specifically the zig route a lot more in a lot of other instances, along with some other things to modify your running back. So this is just another wrinkle to it. It doesn't get to the flat as fast because it's a zig route there, so often the corner route's not going to get open because of that. But if you're seeing man coverage a lot here, you now have, and this should be man coverage because he's chasing that guy, we're getting blitzed at as well, so I'm just going to have to run to the outside. Normally I would throw that one away there, but my overall point here is it's a way to beat man coverage with this formation here, and a lot of times it's usually going to be man if that motion guy, I don't know why I just threw that. I think because I was talking too much and explaining things and I just kind of lost track of what I was actually doing. But normally when you see that motion guy run over there, that's going to indicate that he's in man coverage, and we're going to take advantage of the other two plays with man coverage a lot there. So again, just another variation. I run the flat route a whole heck of a lot more than the zig, but I just wanted to show you that one. Now another one, and I'm not a big fan of sending out 5 here, but if you make your reads quick enough, it can definitely beat an all-out blitz here. So we're going to continue to do the flat route, but instead of blocking our running back, we're going to put him in a table route. So again, hot route menu with triangle or Y, select Saquon Barkley again with triangle or Y, and then we're going to push up on our right analog stick to put him in a flat. So the reason this one's so good is because if they don't cover the flat, you can take it every single time, but also the motion kind of misdirects and just takes away like the opponent's eyes, or whatever word I want to use here, right? It's kind of like the motion's a distraction to leave the table route wide open. And if a defender does go and chase the table route, that usually means that motion receiver and Johnny Wilson actually ends up being uncovered and wide open. And that's kind of the twofold there for the route combination. You still can make that quick initial look on the right side with the flat in corner combo. But in this situation, because you're probably going to be getting blitzed and you're not having that extra blocker there, it is a good idea to quickly take a look at and I keep pressing square instead of circle. It's good to take a quick look at that flat route or that table route for your running back here. But ultimately, this one with the table route, if you have the time, I'm waiting for that zig to get open. See how that table route just pulled over like almost 3 defenders to the left of the field? That's why I started implementing that variation to this play. But you're going to run into that situation where you just might not have enough time to let the motion inverted zig get open. But if it does, it's usually going to win. And like I said in the beginning of the video here, with this specific play, most of the time the user is going to be so concerned about the right side of the field that the left side is going to be wide open. If they have a really good switch stick, that's something that you're going to have to account for. But sending out 5 receivers here, we'll take the quick option because it was wide open there and pick up our yards. That's going to be another variation of it. The final one, and this one, I wouldn't recommend getting like too cute with this one too often, but if you do have Hot Route Master, Backyard QB, Master Tactician, you're going to bring up your Hot Route menu, you're going to select Saquon Barkley again, and this time, you're going to press down on your D-pad and put him in a wheel route. Now, unfortunately, there's going to be situations where that motion receiver, Johnny Wilson, is going to bump into Saquon Barkley because the route combinations are so close. But if Barkley gets a free release and that bumping doesn't happen, he's usually going to be open because if it's a zone defense, the left of screen defenders or cornerbacks are going to be so focused between Devontae Smith running that post and Johnny Wilson in the motion that you're going to be able to throw it over the top. And if it's man coverage, again, you're going to need to have the time to make that throw. But if it's man coverage, usually, and I say usually with an asterisk, that wheel route is going to win. So we're just running it, and I got blitzed at there. We're running this on all Madden against the computer, and if you've played and ran in practice mode before, you know the computer likes to treat a little bit there. I actually just ran the wrong play. We ran the variation we were doing a second ago, so let me just throw that off and do the wheel route. But this one's more of a gamble play. I would run this more frequently if you notice your opponent's not blitzing. Maybe they're only rushing 3 people and have like a QB spy and they're taking away the run away from you. This should be man coverage, so the wheel route, if we had enough time, would get open there. I don't know if that's a dot, right? There we go. Again, you might have to flood out of the pocket in situations here, but the computer's over aggressive in this situation, but that's going to be play 1 of 3 that gives you that same look with the motion. The second play is going to be the motion RPO zone alert. This is like one of my favorite plays, 3rd and 5. I need 5 yards. I'm actually running this one. This is, you have to get into practice mode and practice the timing on this one. Otherwise, you may run into some situations, because it happened to me early on when I really started running this play where it just would not allow me to throw the ball at all. So work on your timing, but you're going to get that same look where, you know, Johnny Wilson motions from right to left. And in this situation, you're either going to run the ball or you're going to pass it to circle. Sometimes if they're in man coverage, you can get the throw to R1 off there. Davante Adams, he usually cooks man coverage in this situation, but a lot of times the defenders just rush to you too fast to even get the throw off. And you just got to be careful on this one, because I've lurked people running this play. I've been lurked running this play. You have to get a feel for it. But for the most part, unless they have hard flats on the left of the screen or they take it away with either just a user or a switch stick, circle's going to be open, and you kind of want to spam rack catch. Let me just go ahead and run it here. You kind of want to spam rack catch after you throw it. If not, he's going to kind of get this like weird animation where he starts like moving his feet weird and running sideways. But if you spam rack catch and try to move up the field, it's going to pick up a lot of yards. So this looks like man coverage. Actually, he stopped there. That usually never really happens. We'll try it again, but as you can see, this one can get you a ton of yards in the goal line, like in like 5-yard line and in, and maybe even 10-yard line and in. It's a little scary to run because you don't have as much space, and they can commit to that a little bit more here. In that situation, they took it away, so we had to run the ball. Sometimes you're going to get no yards when you have to run the ball. If you can pick up a few in the running situation there, that's actually ideal. But the primary read and the main read, and really the main focus of this play, is just doing that really quick out there and being able to get up the field. If you have one of your faster receivers, and I'd probably recommend putting your fastest receiver in this spot here because of the motion in the next play specifically, that's going to be ideal. But you know, this play, it just gets money for me. Now, if you run it enough times in a single game, your opponent's going to start cheating over to that side, and that's where the first play that we looked at can become really helpful, because then you have the right side of the field with that flat and post combination to take advantage of no user over there. Again, you're always going to have to account for people who have good switch sticks and good users, and they'll be able to get over to that side of the field fast enough. But all in all, you know, I really love this play, and I pick up a lot of yards from it. And that's going to lead us to the final play for this video, which is going to go ahead and be the motion cross post. And for this one, there's probably like, honestly, like 5 setups that I could go with this formation, and this is all going to be dependent on just kind of what I see from my opponent throughout the game. Now, if you want to run it stock, you certainly can. I actually don't do that too frequently, but if we run it just exactly like this is what it looks like, just a lot of crossing routes. I typically block my running back, and I threw that purposely even though he was covered. That route can end up being open if they just like don't pay attention to it, so you can always look for that one. But my first read is going to be R1 right here on that quick throw. Again, a good user is probably going to take that away, but if they cheat down to that one, much like we talked about in episode number 1 here, and I'm going to start blocking my running back now like we did in the first play example of this video, but a lot of times you're going to see them, you know, initially cover that drag route, and then they're going to notice the backside routes, and if they're a good user, they're usually going to try to drop back and cover those. So if you can maintain your patience, drag is still going to be the open option in this situation here, but if not, you got square coming across the field, and if you can hit him there and have enough time, he's going to beat man coverage for the most part. But this is just the stock play. This is not how I really run it often at all. The main setup that I like to rock with this one is blocking my running back, so Y or triangle, select Saquon Barkley, R2 on your controller or right trigger, and then I actually like to streak Devontae Smith over here on the left. So again, hot route menu with triangle or Y, we're going to hit square, or that would be X on Xbox to select Devontae Smith. and then up on our left analog stick to put him on a streak. And this is one of the setups we go with. So again, we're still really looking at R1 there. X is going to be the backside deeper route. But my first initial read is Devontae Smith square. Seam streaks are really good this year. Cover 4 takes it away for the most part, but you can get some really big plays downfield just throwing it to square alone here. And if I can pass lead that one to the outside, I threw that a little too late. And if there's more open space down the field, that's probably a touchdown. In fact, I'm going to move the ball back here so we can have a little more space to operate. Now, I did say that square is kind of the first thing you're looking at, and if you can kind of get a sense if you run this play enough, if it's going to be open or not initially. But also, if you throw circle over there, who just goes right up the field, this is where the variation between the 3 plays is really helpful. But if they start cheating down thinking it's the RPO play that we just ran, and they maybe overcommit and put a hard flat there or some type of cover 2, the wheel route or the motion wheel route with Johnny Wilson is going to run right past it. So primarily I'm just looking at the left of the screen and trying to see who's going to get open. In this situation, it looked like Devontae was there. We kind of threw it too quickly because we're getting blitzed, and the computer is just killing us right now with these blitzes. But that's where I'm looking first, and then you have the backside slant or backside drag and kind of baby post route, if you will, to look at as well. Also, bad read by me, but circle was wide open right there. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hard to like talk and teach and run the play all at the same time. That's why I said earlier, come through and watch these plays on Twitch, because they're gonna work a lot. But there is circle as 21. Patrick Peterson started cheating down because of that drag from R1 coming across the field. But overall, this play has like ginormous big play potential here. We can hit X in this situation. So repetition to figure out who's going to be open and where. So far, we've been going against just like random defenses, letting the computer choose it. I chose to go against 6-1 man coverage here because this beats man coverage a lot. I said it earlier, you can usually tell when it's man coverage when your motion guy starts motioning that somebody's going to follow him over there. And once that happens, a lot of times you can kind of snap throw or like throw it up like that, and I don't recommend gunslinger, or you're not going to get enough air on the throw right there. But you can kind of tell like it's in man coverage, and he's usually going to beat that guy in the motion there because he just has a step ahead of him. And if you're able to get the timing on that one and rat catch here, don't have a taller receiver over here because they jump for no reason. Like I was spamming rat catch and Johnny Wilson still jumped. That's my biggest problem with taller receivers this year. That's why Xavier Worthy or like a Devin Hester aren't a bad option. But you basically have 2 streaks that are going to get one-on-one coverage, and if you have the time, they're probably going to win. Now, if you're getting screamed at like I am, another route that you can take, same setup, but instead we're going to block Kyle Pitts to add an extra blocker there. So triangle or Y, and then hit X for Kyle Pitts. That would be A on Xbox, and then R2 on your PlayStation controller, right trigger on Xbox. Another thing you can do to max protect, which is usually, depending on the formation, going to block your tight end and running back in a smaller combination of button presses. You can hold down L1 or left bumper on Xbox and push up on your right analog stick to max protect. That will by default go ahead and block the tight end and the running back. So now we know we're getting man coverage. We have an extra blocker there. That takes away, one guy who's going to be in pass coverage, but it gives us more time to maybe throw down the field here to Devontae Smith. And notice how he rat catched it with no problem. If that was Johnny Wilson, he probably would have jumped and we would have got a knockout. So that's one way to specifically beat man coverage. Another way that I really like to do it here is to actually slant Devontae Smith and block our running back in Saquon Barkley. That's just one of the steps there. So again, to slant him, triangle or Y on Xbox, square or X on Xbox to select Devontae Smith, and then we push our right analog stick to the right to put him on a slant. The next thing I'm going to do is take Devontae Adams. So we bring up our hot route menu, select Devontae Adams, and push up on our left analog stick to put him into a streak. And then the final thing is we're going to put Kyle Pitts on a post route. So we bring up our hot route menu with triangle or Y, X to select him, and then up on our right analog stick for a post. So now this is what it looks like. If it's heavy man coverage, usually there's going to be no help over the top, but if they're taking away the Johnny Wilson route there, Devontae Smith is typically going to be open, and if the user takes away that, Kyle Pitts or Devontae Adams will be open. It's another way that I just love to attack man coverage out of this play. I think I had circle there. I kind of forced it to Devontae and didn't let him clear. So don't be afraid to take the circle route there in this situation. It looks like it's open again, so we can do that. Unfortunately, that was a really bad throw, but I would say more often than not, the slant route is the one that's going to get open against man coverage. The computer's just blitzing my life away right now. And if that's the case, like we showed you a moment ago, you can always max protect. So we're going to hold down L1, push up on our right analog stick, and now by default, with just that button combination there, we got Saquon and Kyle Pitts blocking. We can then put Devontae on the slant route, and instead of streaking Devontae Adams, I would put him on the post route instead of Kyle Pitts. And now you only have 3 routes out there, so you are max protecting, but you are going to have more time to get those throws off. In this situation, Devontae Adams is wide open. One other variation for man coverage, we're going to streak Devontae Smith like we've done. We're going to block Saquon Barkley like we've done. Instead, on the right-hand side, though, we're going to put Kyle Pitts on a slant. So hot route menu, select Kyle Pitts, and push left on our right analog stick to put him on a slant. And then we're going to take Devontae Adams, hot route menu, R1, and we're going to press right on our directional pad to put him in a zig route here. So it's another way. We basically got the slant and the zig to beat man coverage and 2 streaks on the left side of your screen to take the deeper shots down the field. But the motion man brings some traffic away from that right-hand side. And if you have enough time here, Devontae Adams, you can usually rack that and hopefully run up the field for some really big yardage. So there's just numerous ways for this play to beat man coverage. You just have to make sure that you have enough time. But those are all the setups that I like to rock with when it comes to man coverage here. Let's see if we can finally make this throw, and there we do, and he didn't jump. So my final play is more of a zone beater. It doesn't work incredibly well against cover 4. It's more cover 2 and cover 3. The problem with this one is that often I don't have enough time to make the throw that I want to, but I do like to take a shot every once in a while, and there are quite a few audibles on this one. So again, we're going to block our running back as we've done all video. We're going to put Kyle Pitts on a streak. So hot route menu, select Kyle Pitts, which is X or A, and then push up on our left analog stick to put him on a streak. Next, we're going to put Devontae Smith on a post route. So hot route menu, Devontae Smith left the screen with square, and then we're going to push up on our right analog stick to put him on a post. And then the final thing we're going to do, and you can do one or the other, we're going to take Devontae Adams, hot route menu, R1 there, and either put him on a zig by pressing right on our directional pad like that, or we're going to select Devontae Adams and put him on a corner route by pushing right on our analog stick like that. But we're then going to stem that route down. So we talked about this yesterday in episode 1. To stem any route, you're going to have to then hit triangle to select your receivers, R1 to select Devontae Adams, hold down L1 or left bumper on Xbox for a custom stem, and you can either press while holding that button down, up or down on your D-pad, and we're going to stem this one all the way down so it looks like this. So the idea is that Kyle Pitts is going to clear out. We still have Johnny Wilson for that streak, which could get open if you're in any type of coverage there, and then Devontae Adams on that like modified corner route is going to pull the right side of the defense down, so Devontae Smith post route gets open way down in the field towards that 50-yard line. Again, oftentimes you're just simply not going to have enough time to make that throw, but if you do, if you can step in the pocket there, you see he would have been open. Another thing you can do to try to get that max protection is do the max protect that we showed you earlier. The only downside to that is you won't really have that clear out route with Kyle Pitts that we had initially, but with the max protection, let me block my running back there, it's going to look like this. And if you want to stem Devontae Smith up one, you can as well. So hot route menu, select Devontae Smith. After you put him in a post, you hold down L1 and you can go like this, up or down. Again, I'm going to put it up like right here, snap the ball. It's just all about protection on this one. If you ever watch me stream, you've heard me say it a million times, like, dang, and that was a bad throw. If I had more time, this would be a touchdown like every play. I'd love to run it one time against the computer here so we can show you that it does actually work. If you have enough time, it's all about the timing there. Again, he was about to be open, and if you look back at that play, let me use the replay feature to show you. Notice that this initially is grabbing the attention of both of these players. Now, Cooper DeJean, who's not a safety, he's actually just a cornerback that'll lock down your number 1. Look, both of these guys are paying attention to Devontae Adams, and here is Devontae Smith on the backside, who's going to be open here. You do have to kind of throw it in this area to where Cooper DeJean's not going to be able to get back to it, but unfortunately I just didn't have enough time to be able to make that throw. So that's going to be it for episode number 2. We've looked at all 3 of these motion plays and how you can basically use them together to throw off your defender or your opponent's defense so they don't really know what's coming every single time. In episode number 1, if you guys missed it, we covered mesh spot and smash return. I encourage you to go back and watch that one. Next episode, we're going to talk about spacing switch and the Y option pivot and just using a route combination that will not only work amongst those 2 plays, but it will work just generally in a lot of formations. So we'll see you on episode number 3. Thank you for watching this one. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.